Hello Transmanians, and welcome to another journey video. In this episode, I traveled aboard two Via Rail trains, experiencing both economy and business class. My journey began on Via Rail train 35 in economy class, departing from Gare du Palais, in English, Palace Station in Quebec City, and arriving at Montreal Central Station, Gare Centrale de Montréal. During my layover in Montreal, I spent some time relaxing in the station's business lounge before continuing my trip aboard Via Rail Train 67 in business class to Toronto's Union Station, concluding this rail adventure. So, how did Via Rail measure up from Quebec City to Toronto? What are the differences between business and economy class? Was the business lounge at Montreal Central Station worth a visit? And most importantly, was the upgrade worth the cost? Watch the full video to find out. I arrived at the Quebec Palace Station at roughly 7 a.m., just 1 hour before my train departed for 8:06 a.m. Palace Station in Quebec City is a train and bus station served by Via Rail and Orléans Express. Named for its proximity to the former palace of the Intendant of New France, it was built in 1915 by the Canadian Pacific Railway in a chateau-esque style similar to the Chateau Frontenac. Closed to passenger rail from 1976 to 1985, it later reopened as the eastern terminus of Via Rail's corridor service to Montreal and Ottawa. The station was designated a heritage railway station in 1992. As you can see, the station was undergoing renovations during my visit, which is understandable given its age. Unfortunately, the exterior was quite unsightly at the time, and the interior was similarly unappealing, with construction barriers and white tarps throughout. I had previously visited the station in 2023, before the renovations began, and at that time both the interior and exterior were strikingly beautiful, complete with the iconic clock atop the roof. While I recognize that renovations are necessary and inevitable, the current state of the station was disappointing. That said, the disruption is only temporary, and I look forward to seeing the station restored to its former grandeur. Palace Station includes a cafe, offering a convenient option for passengers to grab a bite or a drink before boarding their train. The station also has a drinking fountain. However, it does not include a bottle filling feature. For those needing to refill a water bottle, The nearest option is located at the Gare du Palais bus terminal, situated at the far end of the station, which featured somewhat of a lengthy walk. After approximately 45 minutes of waiting, passengers began boarding the train about 20 minutes prior to departure. My economy class Via Rail ticket for the journey from Quebec City to Montreal cost $102.83 Canadian. It's worth noting that if you wish to select a seat in advance, it's more cost-effective to purchase a regular economy fare rather than the lower-price escape fare. With the escape fare, seat selection incurs an additional $7 fee, whereas it is included at no extra cost with both economy and economy plus fares. All this time, I had consistently opted for the escape fare on previous trips without realizing that economy would have offered better overall value. The train I was set to board was one of the new Siemens Venture models, a good start to what would be a long journey. While I was excited to experience these modern trains again, there was a notable drawback. At the time of this trip, and still true at the time of producing this video, speed restrictions remained in place for the Siemens Venture trains. Because of this, trains were going to be late between 15 to 45 minutes. These limitations were imposed by Canadian National Railway, which owns the tracks. The issue stems from the fact that the train sets were operating with 24 axles, whereas regulations require them to have 32 additional axles per train set. As a safety measure, CN enforced reduced speeds at several public crossings between Windsor and Montreal. Although I was genuinely pleased to be riding the new trains again, I couldn't help but feel a bit disappointed by the slower travel time, an understandable sentiment given the circumstances. The seating configuration in the economy car is a standard 2x2 layout. This was my seat, 5A, A-prime window seat that offered an excellent view. This particular car featured a single wheelchair accessible washroom and was the exact unit I traveled in. To help others choose a good seat, I've marked several seat types based on their window alignment. Green boxes. These indicate ideal window seats, like 5A, where the window is perfectly aligned with the seat, providing an unobstructed view. Blue boxes. These seats are slightly misaligned, with the seats centered between two windows. While not ideal, the view remains mostly unobstructed and still enjoyable. Yellow boxes. These seats are located at the far end of a window, requiring you to lean forward to get a better view. These are less optimal and may be worth avoiding if a clear window view is important to you. Red boxes. These are seats located between two windows, offering a little view and effectively placing you next to a wall. I do not recommend these seats. Black box. Seat 18D has no window at all and should be avoided entirely. I recommend studying the seat layout carefully and counting the seat numbers before selecting a seat, especially in this specific economy car with a single wheelchair accessible washroom. This assessment is based on personal observations and data collected during my journey.
Les grandes valises peuvent aller dans les étagères qui sont au fond de chaque voiture. Merci. Good morning, everyone. If you have small bags can go under your seat. Medium bags can go on the shelves above your seat. We ask you please to make sure they are placed securely, completely behind the edge.
Now, moving beyond the window seats, let's talk about the legroom. Much like the Bud and LRC cars, the legroom was excellent. The tray table was sturdy and spacious enough to comfortably hold a laptop. This car featured the standard economy class food and beverage menu with items delivered directly to your seat via a service cart. A safety pamphlet was also provided for passenger reference.
If you have small bags will go under your seat. Medium bags on the shelves above your seat. We ask you please to make sure that the baggage racks at the end of each car. Thank you.
Each seat had a hook for hanging small items, along with 2 power outlets and 2 USB ports, ample charging options for modern travelers. A distinguishing feature of this train was its open luggage storage area, which allowed passengers to easily view their belongings rather than relying on enclosed, airplane-style compartments. Passenger information screens were available on board, displaying station stops, current location, train and car numbers, bathroom occupancy, and the train's speed, an appreciated and informative touch. The seat recline function was adequate, perhaps not quite as good as other Via Rail fleets, but certainly sufficient. The adjustable headrests added a level of comfort, and each seat was equipped with a window blind. However, since windows were shared between 2 rows, the blinds felt somewhat redundant. Let's take a look at the washroom in this car, which was designed to be wheelchair accessible. The space was notably large and thoughtfully modernized, featuring push-button controls for opening and locking the doors. A digital screen displaying the train route added a helpful and modern touch. Overall, the washroom was clean and well-maintained, contributing to a positive onboard experience. I was able to successfully connect to the Wi-Fi on my phone while traveling on the Siemens Venture train. Compared to other train car fleets I've used, the Wi-Fi on these trains offers access to platforms like YouTube, with video streaming available at reasonable quality. However, I encountered issues when attempting to connect via my laptop. Despite multiple attempts, the device was unable to reach the Wi-Fi login page, which was disappointing, particularly since I had worked to complete that required internet access. As a workaround, I used my phone's connection to create a hotspot for my laptop, which allowed me to get online. While this solution was effective, it would have been far more convenient to connect directly through the onboard Wi-Fi using my laptop without any complications. The train departed the station promptly at 8:06 a.m., with Montreal as its scheduled destination at 11:26 a.m. However, due to speed restrictions associated with the Siemens Venture trains, it quickly became apparent that the train would not arrive on time. The main concern then became determining the extent of the delay before reaching the final destination. Sainte-Foy Station is a staffed Via Rail station in Quebec City located on Chemin de la Gare in the former city of Sainte-Foy. Opened in 1976 as a Canadian National Railway station after the closure of Gare du Palais, it became the region's sole intercity rail station from 1979 to 1985 until Gare du Palais reopened. It is served by corridor trains to and from Ottawa and by the ocean Via Rail's long-distance service to Atlantic Canada. As for Sainte-Foy, it's a suburban area west of downtown Quebec City, was an independent city until its 2002 amalgamation. Now part of the Sainte-Foy Sillery Cap Rouge borough, it was divided into 4 districts in 2009. It is a key economic hub, home to Jean Lesage International Airport, Université Laval, major shopping centers, and both bridges to the south shore of the St. Lawrence River, where the train was going to cross one of them. The train crossed the Quebec Bridge, a road, rail, and pedestrian bridge completed in 1919 after 2 deadly collapses in 1907 and 1916 that killed 88 people. Nearby is the Pierre Laporte Bridge, Canada's longest main-span suspension bridge at 1,041 meters. Renamed after Vice Premier Pierre Laporte, it connects Autoroute 20 and 73, linking Lévis with Quebec City and routes to Saguenay. Charny Station is currently served by 1 daily train in each direction on Via Rail's Montreal-Quebec corridor route. It previously served as a stop on the Montreal Gasp train until 2013 and on the ocean until 2014, when that service was relocated to Sainte-Foy Station. Charny is a district in Lévis, Quebec, located south of Quebec City on the St. Lawrence River's south shore. Formerly an independent city, it merged with Lévis on January 1st, 2002. En route to Drummondville, the train experienced multiple slowdowns before regaining speed, indicating a delay in its arrival to Montreal. At one point, it paused to allow a passing train bound for Quebec City to proceed.
Nous arrivons maintenant à la gare de Drummondville. We are arriving now at Drummondville Station, la gare de Drummondville.
Drummondville is a city in the Centre du Quebec region located along the Saint-François River. As of the 2021 census, it has a population of 79,258. Founded in 1815 by Lieutenant Colonel Frederick Heriot, Drummondville was established to settle British soldiers after the War of 1812 and defend against American threats. It is named after Sir Gordon Drummond and serves as the seat of both the Drummond Regional County Municipality and the local judicial district.
Nous arrivons maintenant à la gare de Saint-Hyacinthe. We are arriving now at Saint-Hyacinthe Station, la gare de Saint-Hyacinthe.
The Saint-Hyacinthe station building dates to 1900, but Grand Trunk Railway built the first station in 1870 and again in 1872. As for the city, it is located on the Yamaska River in the Montérégie region. With a 2021 population of 57,239, it is part of Les Mascoutins, RCM, and is crossed by Autoroute 20. The city is also the seat of its judicial district.
Attention please, we do expect to arrive at Saint-Lambert next stop at this point around 11:45, 11:50. In Montreal around 12:05. Thank you. Nous arrivons maintenant à la gare de Saint-Lambert. Arriving now at Saint-Lambert Station, la gare de Saint-Lambert.
Saint-Lambert Station serves exocommuter trains, Via Rail, Amtrak, and RTL buses. It connects to Via's Ocean and Quebec City, Ottawa Corridor, Amtrak's Adirondack to New York, and EXO's Mont Saint-Hilaire line. Unstaffed since 2012, the station remains open during train times as a shelter. It is not wheelchair accessible and is in ARTM Fare Zone B. It also serves nearby Longueuil. As for the city, it is located on the south shore of the St. Lawrence River across from Montreal. It is part of the urban agglomeration of Longueuil in the Montérégie region. The city has two main areas, the original Saint-Lambert, including downtown the village, and the Préville neighborhood, which merged with the city in 1969. Saint-Lambert was named after French-Canadian hunter Lambert Close. The Victoria Bridge, linking Montreal to Saint-Lambert, crosses the St. Lawrence River and opened in 1859 as the first bridge to span the river. Designed by Robert Stephenson, it was originally a tubular rail bridge and is now used for both road and rail traffic. Still active today, it serves the Canadian National Railway's Halifax-Montreal line and plays a key role in North American rail transport. The bridge is about 3 kilometers long with 24 ice-breaking piers. Named for Queen Victoria, it was briefly called the Victoria Jubilee Bridge in 1897 before reverting to Victoria Bridge in 1978.
Attention, s'il vous plaît, nous arriverons à la gare centrale de Montréal. Notre prochain arrêt dans environ 7 minutes. Tous les passagers qui nous quitteront à ce point, veuillez vous assurer, n'oubliez aucun fait personnel avant de quitter. Pour la sécurité de tous, nous vous prions de demeurer assis jusqu'à l'arrêt complet du train. Encore une fois, pour la sécurité de tous.
After crossing the St. Lawrence River, the train finally made it to Montreal. Founded in 1642, and named after Mount Royal, is Quebec's largest city and Canada's second largest. Located on the island of Montreal, it had 1.76 million residents in 2021, with 4.29 million in the metro area. A bilingual, French-speaking city, it is a cultural, business, and education hub. Montreal hosts the ICAO, is a UNESCO City of Design, and is known for events like Expo 67, the 1976 Olympics, the Canadian Grand Prix, and Just for Laughs.
Central Station.
I arrived at Montreal Central Station just over 30 minutes late, exactly as projected on Via Rail's website. While I was impressed with the modern Siemens train sets and their onboard amenities, the trip highlighted some limitations. These trains are the fastest in Via's fleet, capable of reaching speeds up to 200 kilometers per hour. However, since the majority of tracks are owned by freight companies like CN and CP, passenger trains must yield to freight operations, slowing down at public crossings or stopping to allow other trains to pass. As a result, these high-performance train sets rarely operate anywhere near their full potential. The only long-term solution would be the development of a dedicated high-speed rail corridor between Toronto and Quebec City, allowing speeds of up to 300 kilometers per hour, but that is not going to happen anytime soon. Overall, the journey from Quebec City to Montreal was adequate. The frequent slow zones were the most noticeable drawback, an expected outcome when passenger and freight services share infrastructure. At the time, this marked my third Via Rail trip of 2025. Of the 3 journeys, 2 trains arrived late at their destinations, while only one was on time. After most passengers disembarked, additional travelers at the station were preparing to board as the train continued on to its final destination in Ottawa. My connecting train from Montreal to Toronto was scheduled to depart at 1:22 p.m., giving me over an hour of downtime at Montreal Central Station, Gare Centrale de Montréal. Montreal Central Station is a key hub within the Quebec City-Windsor corridor. Opened in 1943 and rebuilt in 1967 alongside the opening of Place Bonaventure. It is Canada's second largest rail station after Toronto's Union Station. The station serves Via Rail trains to Halifax, Amtrak trains to New York City, and EXO commuter trains throughout the Greater Montreal area. It is also a major stop for the Réseau Express Métropolitain, with current service to Brossard and planned extensions to Bois-Franc and Deux-Montagnes, north of the city. Architecturally, the station is notable and comparable in grandeur to Toronto Union Station's Great Hall. The business lounge at the station offers a quiet and comfortable space for travelers. Upon entering, I appreciated the ambient lighting and the relaxing background music, which created a pleasant atmosphere. However, the lack of windows meant there was no natural light, which some may find uninviting. Compared to Via Rail's business lounges at Toronto's Union Station and Ottawa Station, this lounge is noticeably smaller and may not meet the expectations of those familiar with the other locations. Guests have access to complimentary beverages, including hot chocolate, coffee, soft drinks, and juice. In terms of snacks, only apples were available, which felt rather limited. I found myself wishing for a broader selection, though I knew more options would be available on board the train. The washroom facilities were clean, but unfortunately, none of the hand dryers were functioning, leaving me to air dry my hands manually, which was less than ideal. On the upside, I was able to connect to the lounge's Wi-Fi using my laptop. something I hadn't been able to do on board the train, allowing me to catch up on work while I waited for my boarding call. The couches were in good condition and comfortable for sitting. Despite a few shortcomings, the lounge provided a more relaxed and productive alternative to standing in line for 30 to 45 minutes in the main hall of Montreal Central Station. After spending some time in the lounge, I, along with the other business class passengers, boarded the train approximately 22 minutes prior to departure. My business class Via Rail ticket from Montreal to Toronto cost $206.90 Canadian, bringing the total to $309.73 Canadian when including the earlier leg of my journey from Quebec City. The train car for this segment was an LRC model, originally built in the early to mid-1980s. It felt somewhat unusual transitioning to this older equipment after having just experienced the modern Siemens Venture train, the newest addition to Via Rail's fleet. In retrospect, I would have preferred to ride the LRC train first, followed by the Siemens, to end the trip on a more contemporary note. Still, the experience was enjoyable overall. Perhaps on another occasion, I'll have the opportunity to travel in the Siemens business class car. The seating configuration in the business class LRC car follows a 1-2 layout. My seat was 11S, a single window seat equipped with curtains. Although I had the option to choose a complimentary seat in the double seat section, I opted for the single seat and paid a $7 fee for the upgrade. This is the exact business class car I traveled in. As I previously did with the Siemens Venture train, I've annotated various seat types based on their alignment with the windows to help passengers choose the best possible seating for optimal views. Green boxes represent ideal window seats where the window is perfectly aligned with the seat, offering an unobstructed and comfortable view. Blue boxes indicate seats that are slightly misaligned, positioned between two windows. While not perfect, these still provide a mostly clear and enjoyable view. And lastly, a yellow box. C2S was located at the edge of a window. To enjoy the view, passengers may need to lean forward, making them less desirable for those prioritizing window visibility. Overall, most windows in this car remain unobstructed. It's safe to say that the LRC car has the better alignment. As with much of the Via Rail fleet, the legroom in business class was excellent, offering ample space for a comfortable journey. The tray table was both sturdy and generously sized, easily accommodating a laptop for work or entertainment. A safety pamphlet and a small garbage bag were provided for passenger convenience. One noticeable omission was the absence of a printed food menu, which raised questions about how passengers are expected to know what is available for meal service. This could be an area for improvement. A few additional features distinguish business class from economy. Each seat included a footrest, a welcome touch for added comfort. To my right, between the seat and the window, there was a small side table perfect for holding drinks or small items, particularly useful if the main tray table is in use. Power options were generous, with 2 standard outlets and 2 USB ports available at each seat, more than sufficient to meet the needs of modern travelers. As expected, the seat recline was excellent, allowing for a relaxed and ergonomic seating position. Since this was an LRC car, the luggage compartments featured doors, providing a more secure and airplane-like storage experience. The restroom was clean and well maintained throughout the journey. What else can I say? In terms of design and layout, it was identical to those found in economy class. Overall, it met expectations and provided a good experience. One noticeable drawback was the onboard Wi-Fi. As this was an older Via Rail train, the Wi-Fi was limited to basic browsing, such as Google searches, and did not support streaming services like YouTube, unlike my earlier experience on the newer Siemens Venture trains. Additionally, I was unable to connect to the Wi-Fi using my laptop, as was the case previously, requiring me to use my phone as a hotspot to access the internet on my computer. The train departed Montreal Central Station on schedule at 1:22 p.m. with an updated expected arrival at Toronto's Union Station at 6:45 p.m. When I initially booked the trip, the scheduled arrival time was 6:33 p.m. However, Via Rail notified me via email the following day that the arrival time had been revised to 6:45 p.m. While this change was a minor inconvenience, it wasn't a significant issue. What did raise some concern, however, was whether the train would actually arrive on time. Given that this was not one of the newer Siemens Venture trains, and considering Via Rail's variable on-time performance, I had some reservations about the train's ability to meet the revised schedule.
Going to Toronto today, and I had a special meal request for you. Thank you. Hello, bonjour. Thank you, Toronto today. Thank you. Hello, bonjour. Thank you. To Oshawa today? Yeah, thank you. Hello, bonjour. Thank you. Excellent, thank you. Enjoy. Vous aimez te drink quelque chose à boire? White, sure thing.
As the train approached Dorval station, the onboard service began with a Via Rail employee offering beverages ahead of the meal service. I opted for an apple juice, complemented with a serving of Smirnoff vodka.
La gare de Dorval, Dorval Station.
Dorval Station, operated by Via Rail, is located 2 kilometers south of Montreal-Pierre Elliott Trudeau Airport in Dorval, Quebec. It serves all corridor trains between Toronto, Ottawa, and Montreal, with 2 side platforms connected by an underground passage. The station is near the Dorval Exo commuter rail station and STM bus terminus, all within walking distance. A free shuttle, Air Connect, links Dorval station to the airport every 45 to 60 minutes. Dorval is a suburban city on Montreal Island in southwestern Quebec. Its 2021 population was 19,302, a 4.2% increase. Despite having the largest area on Montreal's west side, it is sparsely populated as Montreal Pierre Elliott Trudeau Airport covers about 60% of its land. The population is concentrated in the southern part. Founded in 1667, Dorval is the oldest city on Montreal's west side and one of the oldest in Canada and North America. Prior to the meal service, passengers were provided with hot towels to freshen up, a thoughtful touch.
Don't worry along the way. We decided to send it to the purchaser. So all this was sent to John Hunt way back. Early March, February. He did nothing.
Shortly after, an onboard announcement was made outlining the 3 available meal options.
Attention please, the meal service will begin shortly on the menu. Today we're pleased to offer you up to 3 main course options depending on the demand. First option today is the chow mein noodles with cabbage, carrot, and shiitake mushrooms. The second option is the grilled salmon with dukkha butter, rice, and Brussels sprouts. Or the third option, the tandoori chicken with basmati rice, mango chutney, and green peas. Once again, please note that we have a limited quantity available of each main course. Therefore, it is possible that your first or even second choice is not available depending on the demand. We thank you for your understanding and enjoy your meal. Also, please note that the appetizer today is a maple roasted apple slaw with cranberries and the dessert is a lemon square.
This highlighted an issue with Via Rail's business class service in the corridor, the absence of printed menus. Passengers were expected to listen carefully to the verbal announcement and remember the options, which often led to follow-up questions when it came time to place an order. This process could be made more efficient and guest-friendly with a simple printed menu, similar to those offered on Via's long-distance trains like the Ocean or the Canadian. While it's possible the meal options were finalized at the last minute, limiting the ability to print menus in advance, the overall experience would benefit greatly from a more professional and streamlined approach to menu presentation.
And explained to us
I opted for the third meal option, yellow rice with green peas and chicken, accompanied by mango chutney and a lemon square for dessert. Red wine was offered as a beverage pairing upon my request. Being familiar with the combination of yellow rice, peas, and chicken, the dish met my expectations. It was flavorful and well prepared. While I didn't particularly care for the mango chutney or the appetizer and chose to skip them, the main course and dessert were satisfying. Overall, despite the inconvenience of not having a printed menu, the meal service was well executed and enjoyable.
That's all right. Enjoy, bon appetit. We'll hold for you.
So I want to talk maybe next week sometime.
Glass of wine, glass of water with the meal. Sure thing.
Cornwall Railway Station sits at the north end of Cornwall, Ontario. The Grand Trunk Railway arrived in 1856, and the downtown CNR station was demolished in 1962 after the rail line was rerouted in 1957 due to the St. Lawrence Seaway project. Cornwall, Ontario's easternmost city, borders Quebec and New York State. Named after the Duchy of Cornwall, it operates independently of the surrounding counties. Located along the St. Lawrence River and Highway 401, it's a key U.S.-Canada entry point and regional hub for logistics, distribution, and call centers. Following the meal service, passengers were offered sugar-free chocolate bars, which were a pleasant, if modest, treat. Shortly thereafter, an announcement was made informing us that a freight train was ahead of ours on the track.
Your attention, please. Just for your information, we're currently at reduced speed since we are following a freight train and we'll be following it for another 20 miles, which will add some more delays along the way. I will keep you informed later on throughout the trip. Sorry about the inconvenience, and thank you for your understanding.
As a result, our train would experience a delay, and the expected arrival time at Toronto's Union Station was unknown.
À cette vitesse pour un autre 20 000, ce qui va occasionner un délai supplémentaire sur notre horaire. Je vais vous tenir au courant aussitôt que nous aurons repris une vitesse normale, à savoir à quelle heure nous allons arriver. Désolé de l'inconvénient et merci de votre compréhension. Kingston Station, la gare de Kingston.
The current Kingston train station opened in 1974. From there, you can take a Kingston transit bus that goes directly to downtown. Historically, the CN Montreal-Toronto main line opened in 1856 as the Grand Trunk Railway, with Kingston's outer station in 1855. serving as a key hub, despite being 3 miles from downtown. Then, of course, in 1974, CN opened a new station west of the city, realigning the tracks and abandoning the outer station, now a ruined heritage site with only its wall clock preserved. Kingston was once served by both the Grand Trunk and the now-defunct Kingston and Pembroke Railway, which connected to the industrial waterfront via spurs like Hanlon's Depot and CP's inner station near City Hall. With the decline of industry, most rail lines were removed by the 1960s. The K and P line ended by the 1950s. Its inner station, now a tourist center at 209 Ontario Street, is the last remaining downtown rail building. Kingston, in southeastern Ontario, where Lake Ontario meets the St. Lawrence River and Rideau Canal, is known as the Limestone City for its historic architecture. Originally the French Fort Cataraqui, it became Kingston under British rule in the 18th century. Settled by Loyalists in the 1780s, it briefly served as Canada's first capital and was home to the first Prime Minister, John A. Macdonald. Today, it's a regional center for education, healthcare, and the military. Throughout the remainder of the journey, passengers were offered a selection of complimentary beverages. Taking advantage of the service, I requested a cup of Coke.
Belleville Station, la Gare de Belleville.
The original Belleville station was built in 1856 from Trenton limestone for the Grand Trunk Railway. Belleville's historic station is the oldest surviving structure from the original rail yard. Designated a National Historic Site in 1973 and protected since 1992, it played a key role in Belleville's development as a major rail hub, once employing over 1,000 people. The station served passengers until 2012, when Via Rail opened a modern, accessible facility next door. Unlike the smaller surviving 1850s GTR stations, Belleville's is a rare two-story Type B structure. Now marked with a historic plaque, the building is being considered for new community uses. As for Belleville itself, it is located at the mouth of the Moira River on the Bay of Quinte. As of the 2021 census, it had a population of 55,071, 111,184 in the metro area. It is the seat of Hastings County, but operates independently and serves as the hub of the Bay of Quinte region.
Station, la Gare de Cobourg.
The original Grand Trunk Station in Cobourg, built in 1856 from wood with 8 dormers, was replaced in 1911 by a brick and stone Romanesque structure featuring a small, elegant restaurant and bar. Via Rail has owned the station since 1978, and it was fully restored in 1993, earning Federal Heritage designation. Opened in 2011, the current Cobourg station was unveiled by Via Rail in 2010 as a $9 million wheelchair-accessible facility with an island platform and overhead footbridge built beside the historic station. Cobourg is a town just 95 kilometers east of Toronto on Lake Ontario. It's the largest town and seat of Northumberland County, bordered by Hamilton Township and near Port Hope. Located along Highway 401 and County Road 2, it sits between Toronto and Oshawa.
Oshawa Station, la Gare d'Oshawa.
Oshawa Station is a major transit hub in Oshawa, Ontario, serving GO Transit trains and buses, Via Rail, and Durham Region Transit. Originally opened in 1856 with the Grand Trunk Railway, the current station was built by CN in the 1960s, upgraded by Via in the 1990s, and modernized in 2017 through a $14 million joint project with Metrolinx. It is the eastern terminus of GO's Lakeshore East Line and offers bus connections to surrounding communities. Although a GO expansion to Bowmanville was once set to replace the station, Metrolinx revised plans to keep it active alongside new stations. Oshawa, on Lake Ontario about 60 kilometers east of Toronto, is Durham Region's largest city. It was once Canada's automotive capital and still hosts GM's Canadian HQ. Today, Oshawa is a hub for education, health sciences, and innovation, home to 3 post-secondary institutions, and a vibrant downtown with cultural venues and startup support.
do their work. And once they're done with it, then they will make another announcement telling you that you're good to take your appropriate seat for train 79. If you're connecting with Go Transport, seeing you again. Veuillez vous assurer d'avoir tous vos effets personnels avant de quitter le train. Pour les passagers avec des connexions pour le train numéro 79 à destination de London et Windsor. Veuillez s'il vous plaît, pour votre information, ce train devient le train 60.
Toronto, Ontario's capital and Canada's largest city, had 2.8 million residents in 2021 and over 7.1 million in the Greater Toronto Area by 2024, making it the fourth largest city in North America. A global hub for business, finance, arts, and culture, Toronto is also North America's third largest tech center. Founded as York in 1793 and renamed in 1834, it became Ontario's capital in 1867. Nearly half its population are immigrants, with over 160 languages spoken. The city draws 43 million tourists annually, with the CN Tower as a top attraction. The train arrived at Toronto's Union Station approximately 15 minutes behind schedule, consistent with the delay reported on the Via Rail website. While this was a delay, it was an improvement compared to my previous journey from Quebec City to Montreal, which arrived roughly 30 minutes late. This marked my fourth trip with Via Rail, and of those, only one had arrived on time, with the other three experiencing delays. However, there was a positive development. A few days later, I completed an undocumented round trip from Toronto to London, Ontario, and both trains arrived on time. As of the time of this recording, I've taken 6 Via Rail trips this year. 3 arrived on time, and 3 were delayed, bringing my personal on-time record to an even split. While reports indicate Via Rail's on-time performance has declined to around 30%, my personal experience has been more mixed, with a balance of both timely and delayed arrivals. And so, the journey comes to an end. Traveling from Quebec City to Toronto took approximately 12 hours. Technically, the travel time was slightly shorter as my train departed at 8 a.m., though I arrived at the station an hour early and spent that time waiting. My experience aboard the Siemens Venture train was positive overall, despite occasional slow speed zones. I particularly enjoyed the business class experience. The complimentary amenities, food and beverages made the long journey more comfortable and enjoyable. My experience on Via Rail was better than my intercity coach bus trips from Toronto to Quebec City. Would I recommend business class on Via Rail? For trips longer than 2 hours, especially full-day journeys like Quebec City to Toronto? Yes, absolutely. Business class offers access to station lounges, quality meal service, and added comfort that makes a significant difference on longer routes. That said, it may not suit everyone's budget. For those traveling in economy class, I recommend bringing your own food to save money, especially on longer trips. Montreal Central Station also offers a variety of dining options for those making connections. As for me, I would gladly travel in business class again. I was genuinely satisfied with the level of service and the amenities provided throughout the journey. The Quebec City to Toronto corridor is the very route proposed for Canada's future high-speed rail line. If realized, such a system would significantly reduce travel time by eliminating delays caused by freight train traffic and level crossings. However, this vision remains a long-term goal, with no immediate implementation in sight. While other countries continue to expand and modernize their high-speed rail networks, Canada remains reliant on its existing infrastructure for the foreseeable future. For those needing to travel quickly between Quebec City and Toronto, air travel remains the most time-efficient option for now,